Dokkan Battle's 10th anniversary is about to drop within the next week, and there is so much to talk about. Last week we did get the pre-stream, which showed us the part 1 summonable LRs, LR Super Vegito, LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then a LR Blue Evolution Vegeta. Not only that was shown though, we ended up getting a roadmap, as we're calling it, about the 10th anniversary in general, and we're able to see that all aspects of Dragon Ball are going to be covered, besides Daima, which makes sense considering the anniversary is usually planned a very long time in advance. I'm sure we'll see more Daima stuff over the next few months, but for now this anniversary will be covering everything from Dragon Ball all the way through Dragon Ball Super and GT. There's a lot of different things available. Now, I did actually make this video previously in a scrapped recording regarding what characters will actually fit in this roadmap, but there's some information that is circulating recently that maybe actually change up a few things regarding my predictions, and that is the box sizes. So a few people actually did go ahead and check the sizes of each box in the images, and we're able to see that there are two different sizes in each of these sagas. There's a smaller size box and a larger size box. Now the larger size box do all fit consistently well with the brand new summonable characters, and we could make a very accurate prediction that in that GT spot, the second size image is actually going to be the LR Super Saiyan 4's EZA. If we go along with that, we could accurately predict that the smaller boxes will be EZAs and the larger boxes will be the brand new characters that are coming during the anniversary. And if we take a look there, that means that there's going to be 12 EZAs / Super EZA characters and 10 brand new characters, which I assume will also include the banner units and the 2 free-to-play characters that usually do appear in every anniversary, and that lines up very well. So again, I want to thank Giku right here for providing this image. Posted it publicly on Twitter. Shout out to Giku, of course. And right here we could see how everything will look like in terms of what each part of the series will actually get in terms of EZAs and new characters. And based off of this image, I'm actually going to make my final predictions for what the 10th anniversary is going to be included. It'll be a longer video, so feel free to go ahead and grab your snacks, do all that stuff and preparation ahead of time, and we'll just hop right into things. We're going to start off with the countdown celebration, as I do actually believe we will be getting some EZAs during the countdown. Now, as of this recording, we know that version 5.25.0, which we're all calling Dokkan 2, will be in game, and it's possible that the EZAs may already be out, but my guesses for what the EZAs for this countdown celebration will be are actually the 2 Saiyan Saga spots, which we see are EZA spots, and I'm going to predict that the Kaioken ×4 Goku and the Great Ape Vegeta that came out during the 7th anniversary will EZA here. Now, there's usually an unspoken rule, I guess you could say, that the characters of that year will not EZA until the main anniversary characters would, but I think for the 10th anniversary they can kind of push that aside, and considering that a part of the theme for the anniversary, at least in terms of the Carnival LRs, is like a rivalry, there's a lot of things going on with the anniversary. I would say also the Vegeta story and Goku story red zones did drop during this, and the start of their each stories with each other is pretty much from the Saiyan Saga, so I think these would be perfect EZAs to start the celebration off. And you know, that should be pretty much be it for the countdown celebration. Not a lot usually drops. Last year, as an example, we did get STR Ultra Instinct Goku, so I do really expect a countdown celebration EZA to happen this year as well. Now next, we could really get into the main meat of this celebration, which is part 1 here. And again, we already have 3 of the characters confirmed, but just to reiterate, we're getting a Dokkan Festival banner and a top legendary summon banner. The top legendary summon banner will have both the brand new LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the Blue Evolution Vegeta cards. But then we're also, of course, getting the Dokkan Festival banner with the Fusing Super Vegito unit. Now, of course, with each Dokkan Festival banner, we should be also getting a banner unit along with them, so that'll be a TUR character, and this would also count as a new card. If we take a look here in the Majin Buu Saga slot, there actually is essentially 2 other new units besides Super Vegito in terms of the large size images that will be appearing. So if that is the case, I would very much assume that we're getting a Buu Saga banner unit along with the Super Vegito. In terms of who it could be, really a lot of guesses you can make. I'm gonna just throw out Candy Vegito just because I think it'd be pretty cool to get another Candy Vegito character. Maybe it could be Supreme Kai or something like that, but just in terms of filling out the image on the screen, you will have Candy Vegito in that spot next to Super Vegito. And in terms of the top legendary summon banner, of course, there would not be any other banner units. It is just the 2 LRs there. So we can move on in terms of EZAs, as of course, each part of the anniversary will have their own specific EZAs. Now, we're going to stay in the Majin Buu Saga train because I would anticipate we could get some super EZAs on that spot. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking what I'm thinking, but as we see on the screen, there are 2 super EZA slots that would be there. And I'm gonna guess that the AGL Super Vegito character will receive a Super EZA during the celebration. Now, what I personally do expect is actually the Namek Saga portion to be represented into this before we really lead into the part 2. But I do think that we'll get LR Namek Goku and LR Full Power Frieza the EZA. Again, we see for Planet Namek Saga there are 2 EZA spots. Now, it's possible that they save these 2 EZA spots for like a EX part. I'm going to not assume that there will be an EX part until that is a thing that actually happens, just because, you know, for 9th anniversary, we didn't really get one. We got the Super Vegito, STR, and the Physical Buuhan EZAs at the very end. I would assume if there's an EX part, it would come with content that is not announced, because that would just be extra content rather than what is contained in the anniversary itself. So that's why I'm going to include these guys in part 1, just really because I feel like this would be a good time to drop it, and we basically would go from Saiyan Saga to Namek Saga, and then I think throughout the celebration we'll see more and more. Even though, of course, you know, at least in terms of Android Soul Saga and following chronologically, even though, you know, we are getting Buu Saga and GT Part 1, still, I think you guys get the point in terms of what I'm trying to make. I think that this would be pretty much the ideal spot to go ahead and drop them. Hopefully they would actually be really good, as these are EZA characters that a lot of us are very, very much looking forward to. Now, as we go ahead and wrap up part 1, we will be heading into part 2. Usually there is an EZA that drops before the part 2 characters, and it really could be a lot of different characters, but I'm going to go ahead and guess we'll actually see some more super EZAs before the part 2 characters do drop. And I'm just gonna say, I think that a perfect character for EZAs here would actually be the year 1 characters. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about super EZAs for STR Gogeta and then super EZAs for End Janemba. Now we're able to see that there are 2 EZA slots for Dragon Ball Z movies, and I mean, EZAing the first anniversary characters during the 10th anniversary would be really awesome. Being able to run the AGL Vegito and STR Gogeta as a brand new linking rotation, you know, not really it's something even done back in the day, but now that would be so cool to go ahead and have. And then in Janemba, just give us a little bit of a villain's push, even though there's not probably going to be a lot of villain focus during the celebration. I think it'd be really cool to just, you know, at least have a little bit as we head into whatever the new boss's strength is going to be, really buff those villain teams that were being very much helped in the year of 2024. Now, of course, it's about time to talk about the Part 2 LRs, and I think a lot of people have different opinions on what the Part 2 LRs will actually be. And I think my opinion is actually very different from what a lot of people would probably expect. I think a lot of people are thinking we're going to see a LR fusing Super Gogeta, which is very, very likely, I would still say. I mean, it would just make so much sense to drop a fusing Vegito, then impart to a fusing Gogeta. But if we take a look here at the theme for the Dokkan Festival section of the banner, it does specifically state that the theme is miraculous power born from the strongest duo. Now, you look at that and you think, fusions, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of fusion, names are like miraculous power, things like that. But I do think that there is one pairing of characters that is also very applicative to this, and that is actually Goku and Frieza. So I think this would be a very interesting spot to get a brand new LR Goku and Frieza card. And in fact, in my opinion, it could be a tag Goku plus Frieza character. Now, the reason why I think this will be the case is because, one, Dragon Ball Z Movies only has one new character spot, which means that the banner unit would have to be a character from like Dragon Ball Super or Majin Buu Saga. And while that's not impossible, they usually like to get the character from the same moment or around the same like movie in terms of Dragon Ball Z movie characters. So I think that kind of hurts a little bit of a Dragon Ball Z Gogeta's chance. But beyond that, we do see that there's actually 3 new unit spots for Dragon Ball Super. So if we consider that it could be the Dokkan Festival LR and a banner unit, I think it makes a lot of sense to see a character from Dragon Ball Super be the Part 2 Dokkan Festival character. And with that in mind, I think if you take a look at, the existing LR Goku and Frieza, so much of their passive has Miraculous in their actual kit name. And I think that it's makes so much sense to me for a Goku and Frieza card to actually be part of the 10th anniversary. I think that is pretty much the pinnacle of Dragon Ball Super right at the end, just probably the biggest moment of the Tournament of Power to a lot of people, I would say. That Goku and Frieza moment was just really, really cool. And they don't actually have a Dokkan Festival, and they've only had one card before. And again, like I said earlier, they would be a perfect character for the tag mechanic, where, as it's called officially, the reverse exchange, where you can go back and forth between Goku and Frieza. Could be really interesting with the different teams that they could be on, with the different links that they could have. I would think that it would be a very fun character to try out, and would be a stark difference from, a Goku and Vegeta in Part 1. Now, in terms of a banner unit there, I think it's about time to get another Tournament of Power 17. They have given us the EZA for the Tech Tournament of Power 17 last year, but he wasn't really good. And Physical Tournament of Power 17 is a character that will likely not get an EZA for quite some time. So I think having a Tournament of Power 17 character, maybe a Reps Universe 7 kind of support unit, would be really, really cool to see. And I think it would actually still make a really good Part 2 banner for the Dokkan Festival format. Now, as we head into the tournament, I almost said Tournament of Power because it's Top Legendary Summon. As we head into the Top Legendary Summon banner, there are 2 different spots that will be available. But if you take a look here at the last few units that would be brand new characters that have not been there, it would be still the Dragon Ball Z movie slot, the Majin Buu Saga slot, but there's also Android Cell Saga and OG Dragon Ball. Now here again, you could probably make a lot of different cases for a lot of different units, but I'm actually going to think that we will see a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan as one of the slots, and then I think we'll see a Dragon Ball Saga Kid Goku as well. Now there is one case I want to make for Kid Goku specifically. At first, I was thinking that he might really just end up being the free-to-play LR, but if we take a look here at the actual sprite animation updates that we'll be getting with the Dokkan 2 update, we can see that there's 2 characters specifically that have sprite updates. That is going to be a Super Saiyan Goku, looks like potentially from the Android Cell Saga, but we can't really say for sure. But there's also a original Dragon Ball Kid Goku brand new sprite animation. I mean, like, let's be completely honest there. I think that they're going to be giving these brand new LRs these new sprite animations. Kid Goku getting one would make so much sense to me, and this is a character that I think does deserve to actually get at least a Carnival or Dokkan Festival LR. In this situation, it would of course be a Carnival LR, and this would actually be a great Ape Kid Goku, because if you take a look at the gi of that Goku, it's actually blue, so it's not even a Goku from the Demon King Piccolo fight, which would be really weird to a lot of people because that is like the moment of Kid Goku, but it's very possible that they just save that moment for a future celebration of Dragon Ball Saga and give us a great Ape Kid Goku just because of how the sprite does look. And of course, Kid Goku doesn't necessarily fit like, you know, the family slash rivalry theme that's really set, but maybe it could even be like a Kid Goku plus Grandpa Gohan somehow. I think that's also applicable if they really want to make things match. But I think a character that will also work very well, as we talked about, is Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now, he especially does fit the theme of, you know, family, right? So it would make a lot of sense to me if that Super Saiyan 2 Gohan would have a voiced active skill somehow for the father-son Kamehameha, because that is actually not a thing in game. You know, in fact, I'm thinking about it, that Gohan very well could have a standby skill where he goes into like almost an exchange into the Super Saiyan Goku, or maybe it's still just Gohan, and then it's a super attack counter where essentially Goku stops the enemy super attack and like then he maybe teleports them with Cell and then King Kai's planet explodes or something. I don't know, something funny like that could happen, make it a different type of standby, and then maybe after you get access to an active score or something, who knows. I think that could be an interesting thing. Or it could also just be, imagine a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and then you could switch tag into the Super Saiyan Goku at any time you want, and he's pretty much just like a free revival character, so in any situation you're able to activate a revive, and then from there you'll get the Bye Guys animation. I think that would also be really cool. And thinking about Kid Goku, what if his intro animation is basically him with Grandpa Gohan, and then him giving his prayers to Grandpa Gohan before going on his adventure with Bulma? And that would also count as family bond, right? If they want to go ahead and do something like that. Look, watch, I bet you that could be an animation that they would do if it comes to, oh, how would you fit the family theme? They'll just go ahead and do that. Makes quite a lot of sense to me personally. Now, we can also talk about other EZAs that I think will appear. If you take a look here at Android Cell Saga, there are 2 EZA spots. I'm going to go ahead and guess that we'll actually get the Super EZA for Tech Cell. He's one of the oldest characters without a Super EZA at this point. And, you know, we got most of the other, like, original type leads. In fact, I think we got all of them, if I'm not mistaken, besides this Tech Cell. So, giving him a Super EZA would be really cool and just a nice little extra buff to villains. Why not? Then, I actually think the other EZA will be the Tech LR Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Gohan that released during Golden Week of 2022. Now, this is a what if card where it's like Goku and Gohan physically doing the father-son Kamehameha. That's also active skill voice as well. He would link really well with the new Gohan, and I think that it'd just be a pretty good spot to EZA him. Then maybe they'll save the STR Goku exchange and Gohan exchange card and the transforming Cell for, you know, maybe we get a celebration later on with the new Cell card or something like that. Could be interesting to see, but that's pretty much what I'm thinking for part 2. And again, this is like the main meat because this is all unexplored area. Now, as we go ahead and head into part 3, we'll first talk about the free-to-play characters before the final EZAs of the celebration. Now, if we take a look here, there are 2 new unit spots left in Majin Buu Saga and Dragon Ball Z movies. Now, usually the free-to-play LR actually does have the brand new mechanic that's introduced during the anniversary, and I think that mechanic is pretty seemingly going to be highlighted as the tag, like reverse exchange mechanic. So I don't know. This is an idea I did see someone else post. It was Rhodey, in fact, that posted this. And I'm like, sure, because I was really thinking like, okay, between the Majin Buu Saga and movies, what characters could really fit this? And imagine the free-to-play LR is a Goku plus Vegeta card, like just based from Goku and Vegeta, and then the fuse into Vaku. That could be interesting, right? And it feels like a character that would be a free-to-play LR card. Could be a very fun unit or something like that. Now, if there's any other Dragon Ball Z, character that you think fits this, or even from the Majin Buu Saga, let me know for sure, because I think the free-to-play characters are like where I'm kind of stuck, and that's where I'm like, maybe, maybe not, we'll see. Then I think this is the most obvious thing, but the EZAs during part 3 will of course be the year 7 LRs, which will wrap up the very last spot in Dragon Ball Super and the very last spot in Dragon Ball GT. They are smaller boxes, so they will be EZAs. I think we all know that the EZAs will be the year 7 LRs in each of those spots individually. Very, very obvious, so those two will be able to be what the celebration is wrapped up with, and I think it'll be a nice little bow at the end of things and just tying everything up. But, that is pretty much just my thoughts on what we'll see during the anniversary, and hopefully the full image will be on the screen at this point. Could things be completely different? Yes, 100%, but I feel pretty good about these predictions. And, some people may think, oh, Dragon Ball is not going to get a summonable LR. I think that's probably going to be the one thing where people are going to be, The same with, like, a no Gogeta compared to having Goku and Frieza. I think a lot of people would think that Goku and Frieza will be the Carnival LR in part 2 with the Gohan, and then Gogeta will be the Dokkan Festival banner, which is a likely occurrence to happen. But I do think that it'll be nice for each series of Dragon Ball to get a brand new summonable card, because we already have from GTZ and Dragon Ball Super. So just giving OG Dragon Ball its own card would be ideal, just because I think it's just fair to each part of the series, and I think it would just please every section of the fan base overall. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Again, if you have any agreements with what I said or disagreements, I'll be very happy to hear them, just because, again, I think there's so many different ways you could take this, and this is probably one of the better things Dokkan has done in terms of a reveal, just being kind of not really like completely clear with us, but giving us a lot of insight on what we could expect is always going to be a great thing. Now, thanks y'all for watching the video, of course, and I'll catch you all in the next Dokkan Battle video. We'll be talking a lot about the 10th anniversary in the next few weeks. I'm very excited. Peace out.